Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain a heartwarming film inspired by the true story of a brave military dog from World War I, Sergeant Stubby, an American hero. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. The story begins on a quiet morning where we see a small, hungry stray dog, an American bull terrier, wandering alone through the streets. He hasn't eaten in days, his body is weak, but his survival instincts are strong. Suddenly, he smells something familiar, a bone coming from a nearby chicken shop. Without thinking twice, the little dog sneaks inside, grabs the bone, and runs as fast as his tiny legs can carry him. But fate has other plans. As he turns a corner, he crashes straight into a man. The bone flies out of his mouth and vanishes into the busy crowd. The dog just stands there, heartbroken, and at that exact moment, something unexpected happens. A military parade marches through the street. Rows of soldiers moving in perfect rhythm, boots hitting the ground in unison. Among them is a young, kind-hearted soldier named Robert. Robert notices the starving dog, smiles, and tosses him a biscuit. The dog's tail starts wagging like crazy, and from that moment on, he decides to follow Robert wherever he goes. The dog follows him all the way to the training ground. When Robert enters the military camp with the other soldiers, the dog squeezes in through a broken wall. Drawn by the smell of food, he sneaks into the kitchen, but before he can grab a bite, the chef spots him and kicks him out. Scared, the dog runs and once again bumps into Robert. He's overjoyed to see him. Robert laughs and tries to explain, "Sorry, buddy, no more biscuits." But of course, the dog doesn't understand. He just wants to stay by Robert's side. Later that day, the senior officer spots the dog during training. Instead of getting angry, he chuckles and tells Robert, make sure he gets something to eat after the drills. After training, Robert brings the dog to the mess hall and shares some food with him. His friends warn, "Dude, if the colonel finds out there's a dog in the camp, we're in big trouble." The next day, during training, the dog joins in again, running alongside Robert, full of energy and excitement. The officers quickly notice something unusual. This dog isn't afraid of gunfire, unlike most strays. He reacts smartly to commands, and it almost feels like he understands human speech. That's when they realize this dog isn't ordinary. He could actually help in the military. That night, Robert plays with him and finally gives him a name, Stubby. From then on, Stubby becomes his loyal companion. Robert even starts training him to respond to human gestures and words. The next day, when the colonel visits the camp, Stubby notices every officer saluting him. So, Stubby raises his little paw and salutes too. The colonel bursts into laughter, and from that moment, officially allows Stubby to stay in the camp. Time passes, and Stubby becomes everyone's favorite. He learns to recognize the officer's orders, and every soldier adores him. Finally, the day arrives when their unit, known as the Yankee Division, is ordered to head to the battlefield. We're told that during World War I, while the French and British forces were fighting Germany, the United States joined the war too, determined to help defeat the Germans. That's when America began training its young men for combat, preparing to send them overseas. Before deployment, the colonel wishes all his soldiers good luck and instructs Stubby to stay at the camp to help with future training. Robert feels torn. He doesn't want to leave Stubby behind, but he has no choice. Before leaving, he gives Stubby a small badge, a token of friendship. Stubby wags his tail happily, unaware that Robert is leaving for war. Robert asks the camp chef to look after him, but as soon as Robert leaves, Stubby chews through the rope, escapes, and follows Robert's scent all the way to the train. Robert and the other soldiers are boarding a ship, and guess who's sneaking in too? Stubby hides inside a wooden box that's being loaded onto the same ship, determined to stay by his best friend's side, no matter what. Night falls, everyone aboard the ship is fast asleep. That's when Stubby quietly climbs out of the crate. He starts searching the ship, sniffing around, looking for Robert. After wandering through the deck, he finally finds him. Robert is completely shocked to see Stubby on the ship. His friend Olson whispers, "If the general finds out about him, we're in big trouble." They try their best to hide Stubby, but accidentally, Stubby bumps straight into the general. As Robert and the soldiers quickly salute, Stubby does the same, raising his paw in a perfect salute. Then he spots the general's cane on the ground, picks it up gently with his mouth, and hands it back to him. The general is stunned. He can't believe what he's seeing. This dog isn't just smart, he's disciplined. Impressed, the general orders the captain to make Stubby an official member of Robert's unit. From that moment, Stubby receives his own nameplate, and a street dog officially becomes a military dog. Stubby now travels with Robert and his unit to France. There, the British and French armies are fighting side by side against the German forces, but the Germans are overpowering them. During one brutal attack, many American and British soldiers get trapped under debris. Without hesitation, Stubby rushes into the wreckage, barking, digging, and helping to find the buried men. Because of him, several soldiers' lives are saved. The troops cheer for him. Stubby becomes everyone's hero. Soon after, Robert meets a French soldier named Gaston. They quickly become close friends. Gaston leads Robert and his team back to their camp. On their way, they pass through a city that's been completely destroyed, reduced to ashes by German bombardment. That night, the soldiers rest at the camp, and early next morning, Robert, Gaston, and Stubby set out on patrol. Hiding behind a rocky cliff, they use binoculars to watch the German troops. That's when they realize the Germans are preparing a poison gas attack on the nearby town. The three rush back toward their camp to warn everyone. As they run, Stubby spots a German soldier aiming his rifle at Robert. Before the trigger can be pulled, Stubby leaps forward, knocking Robert to the ground. The bullet misses. Stubby saves Robert's life. Robert and Gaston hide behind a fallen tree. Robert knows the situation is critical. German snipers are everywhere. He shows Stubby a gas mask and signals him to warn the others. Stubby immediately understands. He sprints through the fields toward the camp. Once there, he grabs a gas mask in his mouth and runs outside, barking loudly. The soldiers instantly realize what he's trying to say. They all put on their masks just in time. Moments later, German forces launch rockets filled with poison gas. Within seconds, green smoke spreads across the battlefield. Nearby, a small village lies directly in the path of the deadly gas. But Stubby doesn't stop. He races toward the village, barking as loud as he can. The villagers are startled at first. Then they look up and see the sky turning green, gas clouds rolling toward them. They quickly shut their doors and windows and cover their faces just in time. Stubby stays outside, still barking, warning everyone until Robert and Gaston arrive on horseback. They grab Stubby and rush him inside one of the houses, covering his mouth with a cloth to protect him from the gas. When the attack finally ends and the gas clears, the villagers come out of their homes. They see Stubby, the little dog who saved their lives. From that day on, Stubby is no longer just a soldier's dog. He's a hero to an entire village. Back at the camp, the captain informs everyone that after the German bombardment, one soldier has gone missing. Despite their best efforts, no one can locate him. But Stubby understands what's going on. Using his sharp sense of smell, he races across the battlefield, dodging bullets and explosions until he finally finds the injured soldier trapped under debris. The team uses smoke grenades for cover and rescues him safely. Once again, because of Stubby's courage, a soldier's life is saved. Soon after, Robert's unit receives orders to move to a new battle zone. Before they leave, a kind village woman gifts Stubby a handmade jacket, and Gaston gives him a special gas mask, so he'll be protected if the Germans use poison gas again. After saying their goodbyes, the unit sets off for the front lines. In the next scene, the colonel addresses all the soldiers, telling them that from now on they'll face the Germans head to head. When they arrive at the new location, a fierce battle begins. Stubby once again proves his bravery, rushing through the chaos, helping to save countless lives. At one point, he cleverly lures a group of German soldiers straight toward the US camp where American troops capture them. But during another clash, Stubby runs to protect a soldier from a live grenade and is injured by the blast himself. Robert scoops him up and rushes him back to camp. The doctor treats him, but soon decides Stubby needs to be sent to a military hospital. Separated from his loyal friend, Robert feels heartbroken. Without Stubby by his side, the war no longer feels the same. Around this time, Gaston also receives orders to return to his own camp. Robert sadly says goodbye to him. After Stubby left, Gaston was the only friend he had left. Now alone, Robert writes a letter to his sister, pouring out his thoughts and pain. He misses Stubby deeply and soon falls ill from stress and sadness. When the doctor examines him, he realizes that Robert's condition is serious. He might not survive for long. Meanwhile, far away in the city, Stubby is still recovering. His paw wound hasn't fully healed, but his heart won't let him rest. Determined to find Robert, Stubby begins his long journey back. Every step hurts, but he keeps going. Even when he collapses from exhaustion, he pulls himself up again, driven by the single thought of finding his best friend. After days of struggle, Stubby finally reaches Robert's camp. When Robert sees him, his eyes fill with joy. Stubby's presence lifts his spirits. His fever fades, and within a few days, Robert is back on his feet again. During their leave, Robert, Stubby, and a few friends travel to Paris. There, they enjoy peaceful days together, and everywhere they go, people greet Stubby with admiration. By now, he's famous across the world, a symbol of bravery and loyalty. During this time, Stubby even helps the military capture a German spy. The general, impressed by his service, promotes him to an officer rank, and Robert receives a promotion as well. Stubby is now officially a senior member of the camp, respected by every soldier. Soon, Gaston returns and congratulates both of them warmly. The three pose for a group photograph with their unit, a photo that soon appears in newspapers all across the country. Stubby becomes a national hero, launching a powerful counterattack that forces the Germans to retreat. When Robert and Gaston see the German bunkers up close, they're stunned. The enemy fortifications are massive, massive, armored, and nearly impenetrable. A soldier approaches Robert and his unit with news. The war is finally coming to an end. He tells them that the government has decided to announce a ceasefire the next morning. Their commander confirms it. At exactly 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, the ceasefire will officially begin. The war will be over. Hearing this, Robert and all the soldiers rejoice. After years of bloodshed, they'll finally be able to go home. But the next day, before the ceasefire takes effect, the German soldiers launch one last attack. A fierce battle breaks out. During the fight, Robert sees Gaston charging ahead alone, so he runs after him with Stubby by his side. And just as two German soldiers surround Gaston, the clock strikes 11. The ceasefire is announced and the Germans surrender. Robert looks at his watch. It's exactly 11 o'clock. The war is over. He and Stubby can finally go home. Stubby is overjoyed, wagging his tail with excitement. But before leaving, Robert helps search for the wounded soldiers. During the search, Stubby finds the hat of one of Robert's closest friends, which means he didn't make it. Heartbroken, Robert says his final goodbye to his fallen friend with Gaston by his side. Soon, Robert and Gaston part ways too, and Robert heads back home with Stubby and the other officers. At the harbor, a massive crowd awaits them, all gathered to welcome the nation's hero. Stubby is greeted with full military honors, just like a real officer. A photographer captures his most famous picture, the one that remains legendary even today. Stubby, the brave dog who fought in 17 battles, served his country with loyalty, courage, and heart. A true American hero. If this incredible true story moved you, please like the video, share it with a fellow dog lover, and subscribe for more real-life stories that deserve to be remembered, because heroes like Stubby should never be forgotten.